and welcome to Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in small town rural America. I'm Jennifer Olson, Director of Business Development for the City of Marion, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Russ Williams, Director of Ethos. Ethos is a small business incubator, co-working spaces, training and development center here in downtown Marion, Illinois. Welcome. Glad you could join our podcast today. We also want to welcome and thank our sponsors for making the podcast possible. So I'll name those: Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Southern Illinois Now, Swinford Media Group, our producer at Union Street Arts, and of course the Watermark Auto Group Foundation.
Super excited this morning. We have two great guests with us. And so we have Kim Barr and Sherry Barter Hamlin, and they are with the Voyage. And so I will kick it off by letting each of them tell a little bit about their role with the Voyage and just kind of start with, what is the Voyage? Tell us about your locations. Tell us about what's in your footprint.
Okay. My name is Sherry Barter Hamlin, as you stated, and I am the CEO. I have been the CEO for 23 years.
Wow.
I know.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
We started out as River to River Residential Corporation, and about 5 or 6 years ago, we decided to give ourselves a new name that stated what we do and wasn't the same as many other Southern Illinois agencies or businesses. River to River kind of got really popular in names. So we transitioned over to the Voyage Senior Living. No ownership change, no staff. That was all just remained the same, and changed the name of the 501c3.
So my name is Kim Barr, and I'm the Chief People Officer for the Voyage Senior Living, and we actually take care of seniors, and my role is to take care of the employees. And so I've been with the Voyage for about 7 years, and my background is in human resources for going on 30 years. Okay. And so that's what I do. I've been there about 7 years and enjoy every year of it.
Yeah. How many employees do you serve?
We serve about 170 employees. Wow. And then several temps. And so we run around that mark and we have about 318 residents, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
And Sherry, tell us about your services.
We offer assisted living, independent living, and memory care. Seniors who are 60 and older can qualify for our services. Some buildings you're required to be 65 and older, but most of our seniors are 60 and older. We have transportation, we do medication administration or just remind and observe. We do 3 meals a day, housekeeping, laundry, activities, fun trips out and about. So we encourage seniors to stay in their apartments. These are apartments, they're not just rooms. So they have their own bathroom, they have their own bedroom, living space, kitchenette, all of those things. And they just are in an assisted living building community so that they can participate with other seniors.
So something that caught my ear was the 503 status, and I know you guys do some fundraising. That would be pretty unique, I would think, for your industry. So kind of tell us about that model.
We have always been a 501c3. We're a charitable organization. So basically what that means is we put all of our money back into the buildings and the services. We do a charitable rent forgiveness program for seniors who come in and they don't quite fit in some of our programs that the state has for us. And so we will forgive rent for them as long as they're living with us.
It's a pretty cool deal. Actually, one of the things that drew me to the company is we can take care of seniors of all income levels. And that goes all the way up into memory care. And so our goal is to bring people in when they're totally independent, and then they can, transition in through if they need memory care. And so we do have different, like Sherry said, we do have different programs that offer all the way from, assistance with their services or their rent or whatever. So we do work really hard to make sure, and we are one of the only 4 entities in the state of Illinois that's been grandfathered into the program to allow us to have a program to assist with people with their services.
Right. And how many people do you serve?
325.
In one location or multiple? How many locations?
4 locations.
Where are they located at?
Anna, Marion, Heron, and Murfreesboro.
Wow. So that has grown in the last couple decades?
Yes.
Was there a time where the spurt really started where you served a few and went?
Yes.
You jumped ahead?
Yes. We started in 1996, and we were serving a very southern county down in Pulaski County,
Okay.
Murfreesboro, and Heron. I came on board in 2003, and then in 2011 we opened the Marion campus and the Anna campus, and the Marion campus is growing. We have 3 buildings there. That includes the memory care, the anchor. We have independent living, and we have plans for more independent living on the property.
And Marion also serves as your admin headquarters,
It
correct?
is.
Okay.
Yes.
So I know when you were looking at developing the anchor, which is the memory care, you did a lot of homework, you did a lot of research, you did a lot of visiting. So if somebody was to walk through, what does that end product look like today?
It holds up to 60 residents, but there are 3 neighborhoods inside the building. So those residents are served in a small unit, a smaller unit than most buildings, where the capacity is 20. It also looks like your neighborhood at home. I would encourage you to come and see it. They have front porches that are very different. Every porch in each neighborhood is different so that they can identify where they live and their spot. They have their own apartment with their own restroom. And we got input from SIU, all different places around the United States, Albuquerque, New Mexico, all kinds of places on what is the best type of environment for a senior with dementia. And in particularly a senior with dementia who is progressing. How can we maintain them, keep them safe, maintain their level of care, and also what do we do to take care of those behaviors that come from dementia? And we're seeing a growing need everywhere, and that will continue, unfortunately.
Yeah. Kim, what kind of training or recruitment first? What kind of recruitment do you to bring in, and is that going well, or are you constantly, having to look?
It has improved, except in one field. We are always looking for nurses,
Okay.
and our nurses are only at the memory care at the anchor, and they, the job is so rewarding. They spend time with the residents. They do administer their meds, unlike what we do in the other buildings where they are reminders. However, in those buildings, it's nice because you usually have a nurse per neighborhood. So it's basically 20 residents. And you have CNAs, DSWs, and DSPs there to assist. And each neighborhood is so cool because there's 2 streets, and they have like street lights, they have a big fish tank, they have a salon at one end, they have a spa at the other where they have those walk-in tubs to where we can use that if necessary. But it's just a wonderful environment. But we do a lot of recruitment through Indeed and on our website and on our actual Facebook page. And so that nurses seems to be the one. And I do handle a lot of different job fairs. I like to get out and about and go to job fairs and everything. So word of mouth is really good. That's the best part.
Yeah.
But we're very competitive. We have worked very hard over the last several years to get our wages above minimum wage, and work on benefits that benefit the company in a good way, but also the benefits for the employees are just phenomenal. We've upped vacation time and different things like that just is a draw to employees.
I imagine you're both in charge of creating the culture and the values for an organization.
Yes.
Not just for the people that you serve, which is quite important, but also the employees.
Sure,
Tell us a little
absolutely.
bit more about what are those values and how do you develop culture?
So we are a culture of integrity, accountability, and honesty. And so she can go into more the serve, which is what we do for our residents. But as far as employees, we believe in having conversations with our employees, coaching them through, and then coaching them if they need to be in there or not in there. And so we have found that by handling situations at that moment or within 24 hours, that we retain our solid, better A employees. And that's what our goal always is.
Excellent.
So we do a lot of team building exercises in staff meetings.
Yeah.
We just started doing the ball with the different things you talk about and throwing it around and just talking and cards. And so we have an excellent set of managers, and our managers do a phenomenal job in each of those locations to manage those employees and treat them with kindness and respect, but building that communication.
Good.
And then Sherry can talk about the serve, which is, I think, the good one.
Well, that's part of our mission statement, is to serve seniors throughout our communities in the best and easiest way, or best way. But we promote dignity, independence, all of those things, security, a wonderful environment. We promote allowing residents to tell us what they want, not just here are your choices, but what is it that you would like to have? And is there a special type of bread? You know, we all have our little things that we like at home. Do you like to sleep in? Do you want to get up and move around early? All of those things residents get to choose and pick, so that we have a person-centered care plan for each resident.
That's excellent.
So
I like the term person-centered care plan. It kind of reminds me of my daughter's in education, so like IEP, which, you know, sometimes can have a negative, but it's really not, because it's just working with the person to meet their highest needs. What are some of the things that people would be surprised if they took a walk through the center or saw your schedule for the week?
I think that people often think that we are nursing home, and that we have that nursing home concept, and we don't. I think that people are often very, very surprised when they tour our buildings, that they are beautiful, they are well maintained, people have their own apartments, they can participate in the activities that they want to participate in, but we're not pulling them out, making them, participate in things that they don't enjoy, that kind of thing. So it is, I think, very eye-opening to especially our generation to see that. And so if we could encourage people to come in and get more comfortable, we do like a lot of volunteers, and the residents really enjoy people from the community coming in. So those are the types of things that I think people are like, oh, I didn't realize.
Oh, and I didn't realize that you needed or welcome volunteers, outside of the families of people who reside there. So
yes,
if somebody was looking for an opportunity and felt like this was a fit, what are some things that they might be able to help you with?
Oh gosh, there's lots of things. If they, it depends upon their talents and what they enjoy, but we have people coming in and offering music. Mm-hmm. We also have people coming in and just want to run an activity, just want some interaction. So they may call bingo for us.
Big one. Bingo's big.
Yes. We've had folks come in and do adult penciling, which is something that our residents can participate in, but it also gives them a way to show their ability, through artistic. But there's also things like if you wanted a book club, our residents would love someone to just come in and read out loud to them.
Yeah.
We do those types of things, our administrators do, but we find that residents really, really respond to people on the outside coming in.
Yeah.
We have one program that's really nice that a volunteer has worked with one of the local schools to come in, and they sit with our residents with this book, and they ask them questions about their life. And so the students are learning all about their life, and they're writing that down. They're communicating. They're sharing with them, like if they need help with anything technical or anything, but yet then they're sharing their life stories. and then that book is given to that resident for their family. And so that has been a huge thing that we definitely want to shout out for a volunteer that did that with us. And it just was very successful. And we started out with, I believe it was middle school age kids that came in and did that. And so that was very nice for the residents, because they do sit around. They like to watch their Cardinal games. You got to make sure you got that on their cable. And so, they'll do that. And then our, social service people make sure they've got popcorn and M&Ms and sodas. And we do have some locations that they do like to drink a little bit of wine on occasion, and so that's okay. They're still consenting adults, and so they did a little wine trail thing within our residence within the company, and they went from location to location and we had like fake wine, and we had real wine, just whatever they choose, and some appetizers, and they just thought they were on the best little trip.
That's awesome.
And so just trying to make them engaged, because being engaged, and when Sherry talks about us caring for the residents, that's why they come here for socialization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When they're not, people will come in and they weren't eating right, they weren't taking their medicine correctly. They come in and they're, they always put a buddy with them, to where then they're having someone they can talk to, and they become friends. They find their night owls, they find their morning people, and they actually thrive under the socialization. 3 meals a day, snacks. They like their snacks.
Yes.
And they like their special parties where we grill out, or we, have birthday cake.
Yeah.
So.
But no Cubs fans. You don't let Cubs fans in.
There are some Cub fans. There's a few. There are a few. They are. And every once in a while we have special days where you can wear your team shirt, or you can wear pajama pants. And so we try to make them as involved as possible. And we let the employees become just as involved.
Yeah.
So because we want them to form that relationship, because we want to make sure they're treating them like we would treat our own family, because we're working in their home. This is their home.
Wow.
And we are working for them in their home, caring for them.
That's good. That's good. So you work with a lot of people, you serve a lot of people, and you employ a lot of people. People are difficult. who is not in some way, right? So
Any given day.
Yeah. So tell us more about, because I know it's something you've talked about quite a bit too, is how to work with difficult people, how to serve difficult people.
You've heard me talk then.
Yes, can you say something about how you do that in this setting?
Absolutely. One of the things, I think it starts with managers. You've got to start with your managers to understand that not everyone's alike. I'm not a parent, but there are parents. And I tell them, do you discipline your children the same? You can be fair, but you're going to do things differently. You can raise your voice with one where you can't raise your voice with another. Managing employees is very the same way. So you just got to learn your managers. I always encourage people to get to know your people, get to know their likes, their dislikes. And we're finding out that especially the new generation wants more praise. They want more praise. They want more pats on the backs. They want more recognition. So learning little things like, hey, I like M&Ms. Okay. So if they do something really good, have a little thing of M&Ms on their desk for them or by their workstation. That people just want to know that they matter. And so the way we've tried to work on our culture is to make sure people matter. We're not going to pay the highest. We can't pay what a nursing home pays. We are a nonprofit. But also in comparison, we just can't. But we're still very competitive in that. So what else can we do to give them what they need to make them want to come to work every day? And so from that standpoint, my goal is to start with the managers on how we treat the employees and share with them, not keeping them in the dark on things. We all make mistakes, and when we make a mistake, let's share with them why we made it or what happened, being honest with people. That's the main thing. People respect honesty and clarity. And so that's the way we work from a culture standpoint. So when you learn those difficult employees, you learn how what their trigger is as far as what they like. And then you work off of that and not focus on their negatives. And when you don't focus on their negatives, you don't grow it so big. You build up the positives. And so that's what we train our managers to do.
Good. Is it similar with the people that you serve in difficult situations?
It is. And I think that one of the things that we do is we teach our managers and train them on how to deal with difficult people. And also to try and relate to those folks, because many of our families are caring for maybe children or grandchildren at home, and then they may have a loved one in one of our buildings. So they're getting, and probably working a job. So they are like multitasking tremendously. And then at the end of the day, when they come in, they may not be in the best mood. Also, people don't have always a history of a good relationship with their parents like maybe I did. And so you have to remember maybe that relationship was never very good. And so what can we do to cultivate positive interaction and say to the family member, let us handle that. Let us take care of that for you so that you can stand back, get the positive from your mom and dad, and not have to deal with some of the negative behaviors. So all people are different, you know, and I also say to the administrators, yes, you will get a difficult resident, and maybe two, but there's always going to be those people in your building and in your life. So we try to train so that whatever they get as far as training, they can also put that to use in their own personal life.
So I feel like you're talking a lot about the favorite parts of your job. So what task or part of your job would you sure like to delegate to somebody else?
See, my telephone.
Okay, I get that. I get that.
The 24/7, you know, responsibility that weighs heavy on a person. And making sure and trying to maintain that everybody is safe and sound when there's storms brewing outside that we cannot control. When somebody makes a mistake, you know, we are all human. We make mistakes, and when our staff make mistakes, sometimes it has a negative impact. So, you know, mine is laying down and going to sleep at night and knowing that everybody's good, because you can't always prepare for everything. We try. We engage with our community, and we have a training coordinator who loves to train on disasters. So she's fantastic. And so we do tabletop drills, and we bring in the police department, the fire department, EMA, all of those people, Ameren, to sit down and talk about scenarios. And, you know, and to do that, we go back to the management and say, what is your biggest fear? Is it earthquake? Is it tornado? All those things. And we take that input and we decide what tabletop we're going to do.
That's good.
So, you know, it's when you've got people taking care of people, it can weigh on you.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the biggest part for me. How about for you?
I have to admit, I have a really good team that I can delegate to, and that's been very appreciative because I am not very good at filing. And I always tell people that. I've told people that in any interview I've done, or I'm just honest about it. And I have an assistant who is phenomenal at it, and I do not want life without her. And the other one, and when we took on payroll, they just jumped right in, and they're just willing to do whatever. And so, you know, I do have a good team. There are some difficult things, but you know, when you have to go in and terminate people, for which I do the majority of the terminations and everything, that's never a good thing. But I've just had to train myself all along that I'm just making a decision by the choices they make. And so, you know,
Could you say that again? I think that's important for business owners and decision makers.
As long as you are coaching people and training people properly, and you've given them the opportunity to correct their challenges, but they choose not to, then all you're doing is making a decision over their own choices. So they're firing themselves, you're just saying the words. And so once you I had to set my mind to that many years ago because it can be challenging. It's not my favorite part of the day. And I try to put that off at the end of the day to where you can get things done if necessary. However, you know, overall, I feel like we do a good job. But when you focus on your employees that are the A+ employees, the B+ employees, and you don't focus on the C employees and their drama, so to speak, you have a better culture of that C employee just leaving because they're basically pushed away from their behavior. Nobody buys into their behavior. And so that's where I feel like we do a good job of that. And that makes my job a little bit easier. And training the managers, like you said, she and I are both 24/7 because if something goes down in an HR situation at night, I'm the one they call. They know to call, not text. I don't hear text when I'm sleeping, but I hear calls. And so the thing about it is being available to them, but also training them to where they can make decisions and empowering them to where here's what you can do in that moment to where we can handle it this way there. Then they train their floor staff to be more independent. So you're building up empowerment throughout the company and not just the head people. And I think that's very important for people to buy into their job is to empower them. You know, one of our most challenging times has been COVID, actually. And so that was a new one for both of us as far as, okay, what do we do? Because honestly, we were so fortunate to not get COVID into a building until August of that year. And our last building got it in December. So kudos to our team, kudos to everyone and how they handled it and how we just were very adamant in taking care of our employees and our residents. And we had some amazing employees step up and just do amazing stuff. And we had some people walk off the floor. They weren't going to be a part of it. And so that's when Sherry and I got to walk onto the floor. and kind of, we worked some second shifts, some third shifts, and we worked the floor. And we can do, cook in the kitchen. That I cook in the kitchen. She'll do some other stuff.
Laundry.
And so she'll do laundry. I'm more of a kitchen person. I'll cook any day. Yeah. And so I loved it. I loved being hands-on. I learned from our employees so much because I'm a DSW. That's non-certified. So when I walk on the floor as that, we're like, you have to train us. So you will do what you tell us to do. And so they would assign us laundry or the kitchen or, or we need to go help you put this away or that away or you need to mop the floor. And so that's what they did. And it was great. So it earned some respect, which is what I'd rather have than anything else is the respect earned. And they know now they can call us at any time and we'll show up and help and do whatever is necessary.
So I know you face growing demand, especially in memory care, but what are the other things of the future for the Voyage? Where do you see growing? What services or features do you see adding in the coming years?
I definitely see independent living happening, and those will look like duplexes on our campuses. And we do have the ability to grow with independent living in 3 out of the 4 of the communities. So that will happen. Also, the memory care. The hurdle for memory care is being able to afford the services. Memory care to run is extremely expensive because your staffing ratio is very high. We have 1 employee for every 5 residents over there. So on shift. So you basically end up with 60 employees and 60 residents. And it's very expensive, especially when you're talking about RNs, LPNs, administering meds and having enough people on staff. But not everybody can afford that. Not everybody in our community can. And so we're lucky that we're part of what's called the CCRS program through Illinois Department on Aging. And what that allows us to do is Department on Aging comes in and will pay for the service piece.
Okay.
But it's limited. We only have so many people that we can serve throughout Southern Illinois with that program. So to build another memory care would mean expansion of that, because over at the Anchor, we've got about 50% residents rely on that program. And so you have to look at your need plus what is your affordability. And I think there's going to be a huge growing need. as we see out just in the community when you're in the store
Oh, yeah.
or anywhere, you're finding people with some mild cognitive impairment and sometimes even a little bit higher level. So that's what we're focusing on right now.
So I understand the memory care, and I know, you don't want to build it where you have to compromise anything because you have a model that is so excellent and working so well. Onto the duplexes, would they have supportive services available to them?
Yes.
Okay.
If they want it. A lot of times people come into, we have a quadplex now. We also have duplexes down in Anna.
Okay.
The majority of those folks are only wanting meals. And sometimes they'll do takeout. Or they'll go into one of our buildings and sit down and eat. But if they wanted laundry or housekeeping, I'd be up for that in a heartbeat for me. I'd be like, bring it on. But they will have that available, and they'll know that there's staff in those buildings 24/7. All they have to do is push a button, and somebody's going to come to their door.
Good.
How do you interact with the communities that you're in 4 or 5 different communities?
4.
4. What's the relationship to folks that are in the community? Supportive, and you can name entities.
So what we actually do is we encourage our managers, our social service coordinators to get involved in the community. What are you happy going to? Is it Rotary? Is it Chamber? Is it the women's group? What is that look like? And so we encourage everyone in each community to pick something that they're passionate about, that they can be involved in, and get involved in that. And then we find that then we get the support of the community by our people being involved. And so we let them pick what they want to be part of. And so we have different ones of different organizations, and they're showing up in those different communities. We've got our people down in Anna that are involved in the Anna Chamber, the Anna's Women Group, different things like that. Same thing with Murfreesboro. We're always looking at ways too, how to get the word out who we are, because, everybody's life has changed on what they look at. We have excellent billboards. We have a couple of nice looking gentlemen on the billboards now. And so they're like, do they live there? And we're like, well, would you want them to live there? Just trying to, won't you come check us out?
Silver Fox.
The Silver Fox, yes. And so, the thing about it is so we're looking at new avenues. How do we reach people? And a lot of it is word of mouth, because they can make you or break you. And so our goal is we just did an employee survey, and we do employee surveys twice a year, and we do resident surveys twice a year. And they rate us on everything. They rate us on how we handle them. They rate us on the food. Is it cold enough? Is it hot enough? Is it this? Is it that? And then we take a couple of those items and we improve upon those. That's where their voice matters. And that's like with employees, we're in the 70 percentile of employees participating in those. We're trying to get it into the 80 percentile, because that's their voice, and they're seeing that when they do talk about those things in surveys, that we are addressing them. And even if we can't do something about what they say, we're telling them why we can't. And here's what we've looked at, or here's what we've done. But the residents, they are unique, and they have a lot of opinions, and they're so cute in their responses. And people I don't know why anybody would want to live anywhere else. The food's delicious. We just got a number this week on food, and I didn't realize it was this phenomenal an amount. But we spend anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 a week on food for all of our locations. They very well. We have very balanced diets for them, and they do a big breakfast on Friday that they love, which is everything from pancakes and biscuits and gravy and sausage and bacon and eggs and and all this. And so if you ever want to visit us, you come on a Friday morning.
Definitely.
Come on a Friday morning, and we'll make sure you eat well. And so, those are different things. And our employees get to participate in the meals too, without any cost to them. So that is a lifesaver for some of our employees, to be at work during the day and they get a meal and they don't have to pay for that.
That's excellent.
So that's a good retention benefit we have right now.
That's good.
How do you, being kind of over the region, if you will, or your multiple locate, how do you plug in or understand the communities? I liked your point about letting people pick something they want to go to.
Yes.
But also, you can't just say, I'll use your examples, Rotary or Chamber, that doesn't work in every town. Sometimes there's stronger organizations
Yes.
and sometimes things give. So how do you kind of keep your eye on such different towns, different territories?
We're always analyzing where do we need to be, and what do we need to do. We believe that the individual buildings need to be the faces of those buildings. So the managers, social services, they need to be the faces that the doctors, the pharmacists, Shawnee Alliance, and all of them are seeing. Kim and I both have organizations that we're a part of. Mine, a lot of that is statewide.
Okay.
Because I feel like we need a seat at the table when major decisions are made about assisted living and changes in regulations, legislation. I'm watching legislation constantly that will affect our residents and affect how our revenue stream comes in from those state agencies. So we all, just kind of try to look at the broad sense of everything and what can we do then also for those managers to make sure that they're on target. Mm-hmm. We talk about this. We have meetings with social services and with the administrators of the meetings where we literally sit down, talk about, have a short agenda, but then we just talk and listen to what they are saying and what their needs are and how do we meet the goals and make sure that we're out and about. And marketing, we have a minimum amount of marketing that has to be done by social services. So, and we also look, sometimes people aren't as, I guess you would say, comfortable going out and marketing on their own. That's just not their cup of tea. So how do we facilitate that? Can we send somebody along with you until you get used to it and those types of things? So we juggle a lot.
We do. And we are part of a Connect group, which is really nice. It's just an informal one here in Marion. And what's nice is like I had an employee come to me and where they were going for a particular type of auto loan wasn't working out. They're like, Kim, I really want to do this. What can I do? And I picked up the phone. I made a connection. They said, come talk to them. Let's see what they can do. They were able to take care of them. Vice versa. We have people that call us up and say, hey, I know you do assisted living. I don't know if my family member will fit, but will they possibly? She gets a lot of calls because they know her. I get messages from people wanting to see about bringing somebody in. I tell them so much, and then I say, I'm moving you over to social services because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. So I think the connections, I'm actually part of a new HR group that we just started up this year. We're testing it out, meeting quarterly to go over laws and rules and different things like that. So just we used to do that a long time ago with SITMA, and it disbanded. So it's kind of nice to kind of start something up again. We'll see. And it's in a test year right now, so we'll see how that goes. But we're always looking for opportunities to be in the community for different things.
That's good.
And we have excellent board members.
Oh, my word.
One of the things that I have enjoyed being here is being part of the meetings with the board members and how supportive they are. And they are throughout all the communities.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so we try to keep people from all of our different communities on the board in different expertise that can lend their information to us and help us and guide us when we may struggle or challenge or something. And so that's really nice. And we meet with them monthly. And then they're on our committees too. They serve on some of our committees.
That's great. If you ever want to have any of your HR gatherings here at Ethos, we'd be happy to host you here too.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. We're actually hosting the one in July at the Anchor, the memory care. And I'm going to have our cook, he's going to cook a meal for them. And I will give them a tour and everything just to bring people into the buildings. We try to do things off and on just to show people, our buildings are phenomenal. People are sitting around either doing puzzles or they're playing games. They love to play games, and your night owls will play cards and stuff in the evenings and different things. They play bags. They do a lot of things. So they can be very active.
That's good.
And they're very routine too.
Yeah.
So dinner's at 4:00, so they're there at 2:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still have New Year's Eve parties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they like to have fun.
They do.
And they're a lot of fun to be around. I enjoy going into the buildings and just interacting with residents.
That's awesome. I feel like when I extended this offer, you were kind of like, well, I'm not really a traditional business. And I'm like, you have employees, you're writing a budget, you're buying product from the community. Like, you're a business.
In a large
It's
scale.
just in a big scale. It's just working under, not-for-profit
Yes.
umbrella. But you're
Yes.
certainly a business.
Absolutely.
I have learned a lot, but I want to make sure that we cover everything that was on your mind, and if there's something that we missed, that we give you a window to share.
I think you've asked excellent questions about us, and we love what we do. That's one of the things, I've been in other industries, but when it came to serving people, it doesn't get any better than this.
That's
It
right.
just really doesn't get any better. And when I'm having a bad day, all you got to do is walk over to the memory care or one of our other buildings and just spend some time, and you're fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
And you see why you're here.
That's good. Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask that question because you're both very passionate and intentional about
Yes.
your roles. But why do you do what you do?
I've thought about that a lot. I've always known since I was in college that I would work with senior citizens. I probably attribute that to having grandparents that were extremely supportive and a big part of my life. My grandfather pushed me to go to college and to be an independent woman. And then once I got on with, which was River at the time, he was so excited. He thought that I was famous. And he really enjoyed it. So I would say that. And once I got into senior living, I worked for Shawnee Health Service for a number of years. And then when we started with assisted living, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is where I was meant to be. And being able to provide seniors services in their home, in our buildings, and watching them flourish. And that is amazing. We have amazing people in our buildings. I mean, huge backgrounds, not just, we're talking anything from educators to scholars to famous people. We've had people who are, Ed Asner's sister was in our building. So we've had lots of people who have had extremely important roles in the communities. And now we get to offer the services that they need for
that they deserve.
That
They've
yes.
lived big, bold lives, and they deserve that the last
Absolutely.
chapter is as fabulous as they are.
And sometimes during their times, some of that will come out still. We had one lady who was head over a big facility involving a lot of nurses, and she herself was one. And if she saw a nurse not doing something that they should, or a worker, she would just look over at me and grin, like, "Did you catch that?" And it's like, oh my, it's all in there still.
Yeah.
It's just in there. It's how it comes out. It's a little different. And, that's what I think the one thing that I always thought before I came to work here was assisted living is for the wealthy. So who's going to be, that's what I thought. And I've always had friends that worked in nursing homes or nurses or different things like that. But when it came to that, I thought it's for the wealthy. And when I interviewed and I came in and found out that we can take care of people basically from Medicaid up, it just blew me away. And I thought, why does nobody know this? And I've had other people reach out to me trying to move their families in, and they had no clue. And they're like, this is amazing stuff. How what can we do to help you get that word out? And I said, anything you want to do is fine. But that's what's phenomenal. And just this past year, we were able, and we were very proud of it. We were able to give our employees a $2 an hour raise to keep them way above minimum. And days like that makes me want to come to work and be happy.
Yes.
Being able to come up with new benefits. You've got more vacation time. You don't work here. We want you to work here a long time and not have just 2 weeks vacation. You can earn up to 3 and then 4 weeks vacation. Those things are huge for people. Here's sick time. Here's bereavement time. Here's other things. We buy them. They love T-shirts. They love T-shirts. We're always trying to come up with a new T-shirt for them. And so, offering them T-shirts at discounted rates, if they want to buy a bunch of more, So those are things that I think makes my day and why I do what I do. If I can take care of other people, I'm excellent at going to fight for them, but she knows I'm not good at fighting for myself sometimes, but I love to fight for the employees and the residents, because we back each other up when we're out of the office. And so I've had some experience being able to work with the residents and their families and treating them like I would anyone else. You treat them with respect and kindness, And so we do try to give people time off, and ourselves as well. We do, when we're off, we off. Shut the computer down. Let's enjoy where we're at. We do try that, and it works, because that's work-life balance has to be huge.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So how do people search and find the organization?
We have a website. We also have a Facebook page. And so you can go on our website, which is voyageseniorliving.com, and it will link you to many things. You can look at what our services are, all of the individual buildings. If you're interested in working for us, you can go on there and put in an application. If you want to come for a tour or have somebody in need, you can put an application in that as well. So I was just having a conversation last night on Facebook, somebody looking for a job. And so I said, give us a shot, give us a try, and see if it, is something that is what you want and what meets our needs as well. So we are always looking for residents to serve, families to help, and employees that want to come in, be a part of our organization, and grow.
And I'll just circle back and add volunteers to your wish list.
Volunteers.
I guess
Yes.
I can't stop thinking about the young people, the students documenting the stories of your residents, because for me that feels like such a two-way win.
It is.
Because I think there's so many people, I'll say 18 and younger, that they're not in a multi-generational situation. They don't maybe know their grandparents, or they're across the country. And so just having that exposure, I would think and hope, gives them the wisdom to be more kind and patient with people that are seniors like me and up. To an 18-year-old, I'm a senior.
Right?
We're there.
So would volunteers follow the same path, or would they just call your building?
They can call. They can call any building, or they can call me at the corporate office, and I will definitely see what their interests are, and we have a policy that we go through and everything. So
Sure.
yeah, but yeah, we love volunteers, and so anybody
Absolutely.
that wants to be a part of it, please let us know.
And we use our volunteers at our fundraisers too. We just did a glow bingo, and we'll be having a glow bingo next year as well. And because it was very successful, but we had volunteers come in from a different company in this area, and they volunteered to help us, and so that was very appreciated. And so
Listen, I never win anything at Glow Bingo. I won a bingo game and I won a gift basket, so I'll be back.
I know, right?
I couldn't believe it.
Awesome.
I was like, I get to yell the magic word.
I know.
Bingo.
I know, right? It was way more fun than I even imagined. I
super
had never
fun.
done one, and so it was really fun. So we are working on another fundraiser towards the fall area, and that would probably land in somewhere in August, September, October, something like that. And it's it'll be a golf outing.
Ooh.
And so our new CFO, Shane Chaney, he actually is a golfer, and he's excited to kind of head that up, and we're going to need a lot of volunteers for that. And so we're looking forward to being able to announce a date in June for that.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Well, Sherry and Kim, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank you
much.
for coming up and joining us here at the Citadel.
Yes, absolutely. It's great. This is a great room.
Yeah.
Well, soon to be great rooms as Ethos grows up the following
Very
three
soon.
stories.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
super
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you again to our listeners and watchers and supporters of the Small Town Big Business podcast. Shout out to our sponsors, Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, the Southern Illinois Now, Swinford Media Group, our producer, Union Street Arts, and that is Luke O'Neill, and also the Watermark Auto Group Foundation. Thank you to them all.
Thanks for being with us today. I hope, like Russ and you always find something new out about a local business, and if you enjoy it, please share it with somebody else. I'm Jennifer Olson, Director of Business Development at the City of Marion. You can find me at City Hall. I've stopped saying new because we've been there a year now.
Yeah.
Oh, I just said it. Whoops. Or you can find my contact information on LinkedIn.
And I'm Russell Williams. You can find everything at ethosmarion.org. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Small Town Big Business Podcast.